people are like, they referred to him as Voldemort, like you couldn't say his name.
Yeah, they
Forever,
dude. It's got to be going on right now still.
100%, but
It's got to be happening somewhere where you can get away with it.
The newly declassified papers are sending major shockwaves through the entire entertainment industry, and one prominent coordinator currently behind bars is completely shaking. Ghislaine Maxwell is reportedly terrified of what Joe Rogan might bring to light next on his massive global platform. Recent leaks suggest that the operations never actually stopped, they just moved completely underground. Let's look closely at what the world's biggest podcaster just exposed to millions of listeners.
Went to jail.
Do you spend a lot of time reading them?
No, I try not to. I try to have experts come on. I try to read. You can't change it.
Yeah.
And it'll fuck with your head.
Yeah, it's
like
toxic.
You will really get.
It'll stick with and I know I've tried not to.
Yeah.
What makes this theory interesting is that these names were meant to stay buried forever in dark government vaults. But now, Joe Rogan is putting the pieces together on a public stage where millions tune in every single day. The deep fear inside this elite circle isn't just about public embarrassment, it is about the dangerous information these high-profile figures will do anything to keep silent. When files like this leak out, people in custody start looking over their shoulders because they know how easily old allies turn into enemies. This goes way beyond simple Hollywood industry gossip. We are looking at a compromised system built on total control, where speaking out carries a massive cost. Take a look at this next piece of evidence showing exactly how deep the operations went.
Truly are.
Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem sent the torture video to Epstein. This is in 2009. So Epstein was saying that. Where are you? Are you okay? I love the torture video.
Jeez.
I am in China. I'll be in the U.S. second week of May.
That clip completely recontextualizes the true scale of what was happening behind closed doors at those private estates. It shows that foreign officials and elite handlers were operating with total immunity, completely hidden away from the public eye. And that's where this ties back to Ghislaine Maxwell's intense panic behind bars. She knows that as Joe Rogan uncovers these specific, unredacted digital trails, the spotlight shifts directly onto the people who protected her for decades. The network relied on complete absolute secrecy, but the declassified files are showing that the paper trail is far too massive to erase. The public is finally starting to see the exact names of individuals who claimed they were never involved. Listen to how the podcast host breaks down the strange way the system protects specific people while leaving others completely exposed.
What the fuck, man? And why is his name redacted? Why would your name be redacted if you're not a victim? Like, this is what's crazy about all this. Like, how come you redact some people and you don't redact other people? Like, what is this? This is not good. None of this is good for this administration. It looks fucking terrible. It looks terrible. It looks terrible for Trump when he was saying that none of this was real. This is all a hoax. This is not a hoax. Like, did you not know? Maybe he didn't know, if you want to be charitable. But this is definitely not a hoax. And if you've got redacted people's names and these people aren't victims, you're not protecting the victim. So what are you doing?
Right.
And how come all this is not released?
That's where things start to connect in a very alarming way. The fact that the system actively redacts the names of powerful bad actors while leaving vulnerable individuals unprotected speaks volumes about who still controls the narrative. Ghislaine Maxwell understands the inner workings of this elite playground network better than anyone else alive. She knows that if Joe Rogan keeps pulling on these threads, the public will demand real accountability for the names hidden behind those heavy black ink marks. What makes this theory interesting is the sheer level of panic currently happening within high-profile circles. They thought the passing of the main financier meant the secrets were gone forever, but the paperwork tells a completely different story. Watch what happened when the legal system finally started closing in on the private island location.
Easiest ones. The day he was indicted in 2018, The very next day, he ordered 330 gallons of sulfuric acid.
What?
Yes. He ordered 6 55-gallon drums of sulfuric acid to be
This
delivered
specific
to the...
timeline is incredibly telling and points to a massive cover-up operation. Ordering hundreds of gallons of industrial-strength destructive chemicals the exact day after an indictment is not a normal coincidence. It strongly implies an immediate rush to make physical evidence vanish completely before investigators could arrive on the property. Ghislaine Maxwell is fully aware of what was destroyed and what was left behind for authorities to find. By bringing these specific details to light, Joe Rogan is making it impossible for the mainstream media to keep ignoring the dark reality of the situation. The fear of exposure is causing massive division among the elites who once shared these private properties. Listen to how the conversation shifts to the grim reality of what those chemicals were likely used for.
A lot of sulfuric acid. You know, if I needed 5 gallons for my desalination equipment, but
Right.
239 gallons or whatever it is to burn kids. Yeah. To get rid of bodies.
Kind of hard to think of any other use for acid, just in general. Right?
Immediately,
So
you think...
Immediately.
Yeah. The other orders, were they that large?
Let me check.
Because here's the other thing. I mean, how long has it been killing people? How long have they been boiling bodies to get rid of them? I mean, if you do have, for lack of better words, let's call it a service, where you allow rich people from foreign governments or whatever, you set it up, I can give you whatever you want.
The implications of that discussion are absolutely horrifying, and it changes everything we know about how they operated. It suggests that individuals who tried to speak out against the handlers were simply made to disappear without a single trace. And that's where this ties back to the immense danger surrounding anyone connected to this file release. Whistleblowers have faced extreme consequences for trying to bring the truth to the public. Ghislaine Maxwell remains silent in her cell because she knows exactly what happens to people who break the code of silence. When the stakes are this high, the people running the network will stop at nothing to protect their positions of power. This next archive news clip shows the sudden, tragic pattern that seems to follow anyone who attempts to name names.
Welcome back and Alive Now. I'm Austin Westfall. Breaking news coming in, some sad news to share. We're learning this from the New York Post, several other outlets reporting this as well. Virginia Giuffre, the most prominent victim of the late convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, took her own life on Thursday. This is just weeks after she made headlines for saying that she had days to live after she claimed to have been hit by a bus. A statement given to NBC News was quoted as such from the 41-year-old's family. It says, "It's with utterly broken hearts that we announce that Virginia passed away last night at her farm in Western Australia. She lost her life to suicide after being a lifelong victim of abuse and sex trafficking." The New York Post says that Giuffre took legal action against billionaire financier Epstein in 2015, alleging that she was sex trafficked at age 16 after his ex-lover and convicted Madam Ghislaine Maxwell recruited her from her job as a locker room attendant at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. The mom of 3, according to the Post, also alleged that she was forced to have sex with disgraced Prince Andrew 3 times when she was 17, including at Epstein's Little St. James Island in New Mexico, and Little St. James Island in New Mexico, and in Maxwell's London home, where a notorious photo of her with King Charles' eldest brother was taken. The Post says the allegations became the biggest scandal to rock the royal family in a generation. Again, hearing of the sad news just within the past hour, Virginia Giuffre, the most prominent victim of late convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, taking her own life on Thursday. It was announced on Friday, her death. She was 41 years old. Her family confirmed
The sudden
this.
loss of a primary voice against the network sent a freezing chill through every single remaining witness. It serves as a stark reminder of just how far these powerful figures will go to ensure their systems remain intact. What makes this theory interesting is that the unredacted papers are exposing the physical locations where these elite individuals operated with zero fear of consequences. They built massive, self-sustained compounds far away from public scrutiny, effectively creating their own rules. Joe Rogan is showing his audience that this wasn't an isolated incident, but a highly organized intelligence honeypot designed to control global leaders. Look at the staggering scale of the infrastructure they built out in the remote desert to keep their operations completely hidden.
Epstein's Island. A lot of people don't talk about his ranch in New Mexico.
Yeah, and his mansion. I mean, it was popping off at all his spots.
He built a 26,700 square foot mansion with a sprawling courtyard and a living room, roughly the size of the American home. Nearby was a private airstrip with a hangar and helipad. The property also included a ranch office, a firehouse, and a 7-bay heated garage. Yeah, that sounds like an intelligence agent.
The sheer size of that estate proves this was an operation backed by immense, unlimited financial power. It wasn't just a private getaway, it was a sophisticated command center designed to trap elite figures and keep them completely compromised. Ghislaine Maxwell's deepest fear is that the public is finally realizing how the system used these properties to manipulate entertainment and politics. Joe Rogan is directly challenging the official narrative, and his massive platform ensures that the truth cannot be quieted this time. The old tricks of using selective redactions and media blackouts are completely failing in the digital age. As more pages of the files leak out, the denials from prominent individuals are starting to sound incredibly hollow. Watch how confidently some of these high-level figures try to distance themselves from the situation.
Yeah. You pretend you think things differently.
And he opens the doors, and there's a massage table in the middle of the room.
Ooh.
And candles all around and stuff. So I ask very insightful, cutting questions. I say to him, massage table in the middle of your house? How often you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me.
Ooh.
And he says, and the right kind of massage.
Ooh.
Now my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say, I'm sorry, we have to go. And we left. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again. So I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross.
Oh.
And so I look back at it as a gift.
Yes.
He gave me a gift.
Yes.
Of avoid.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's my story. A one and absolutely done.
That clip perfectly highlights the exact type of defensive storytelling happening at the highest levels of the industry right now. These public figures are rushing to craft perfect narratives, claiming they walked away the very moment they saw something suspicious. But the declassified flight logs and financial receipts tell a completely different story. Ghislaine Maxwell holds the ultimate key to proving who is lying and who is telling the truth. As long as Joe Rogan keeps exposing these contradictions on his podcast, the pressure on the legal system to uncover the redacted names will keep growing. The panic is real, and the walls are closing in on the active network. But it makes you wonder, will the public ever get to see the completely unredacted files, or will the most powerful names remain hidden forever? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into the industry's biggest secrets.